Gopi Janapalabha Giri Paratari Yashodanandana Rajachandranjana Shavunatiya Vanditari Jai Radha Madhava Ganja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Jayam Vishnupad Panaman Sabai Pachakachai, Astutu Sarashi Shrimad Bhaktivedanta Swami. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Okay. I'm trying to turn on my tape recorder. Okay. But I don't think it's working. Oh, okay. I think it's working. No. All right.
The class will be on YouTube.
It'll be on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just look for this number down.
Okay, I'm just trying one more time. Oh, I think it's going to work now. Yeah. So we're reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1, verse 26 to 28. So I will read 26, 27, and then we can chant together on verse 28. Tapasya parta pittinata pitamahan acchayam mataram pratin putram pautam sakim stata swastran suhiras chaiva senayo ameya api. There Arjuna could see, within the midst of the armies of both parties, his father's grandfather's teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, and also his fathers-in-law and well-wishers. Purport. On the battlefield, Arjuna could see all kinds of relatives. He could see persons like dṛṣṭvā, Rava, who were his father's contemporaries, grandfathers Bhishma and Samadatta, teachers like Dronacharya and Kripacharya, maternal uncles like Shalya and Shakuni, brothers like Duryodhana, sons like Lakshman, friends like Ashwatthama, well-wishers like Kritavarma, etc. He could also see the armies which contained many of his friends. Next 27. Tan samikshas kaunteya savan bandhun avasthitam kripaya pariyavishta vishirani rama bhavya. When the son of Kunti Arjuna saw all these different grades of friends and relatives, he became overwhelmed with compassion and spoke thus. So text 28. We can chant along here. Arjuna uvāca dṛṣṭvemaṁ sva-janam Kṛṣṇa yuyutsuṁ samupasthitam sīdanti mama gātrāṇi mukham pariśuṣyati.
Arjuna uvāca dṛṣṭvemaṁ sva-janam
Kṛṣṇa
yuyutsuṁ samupasthitam sīdanti mama gātrāṇi mukham pariśuṣyati. dṛṣṭvemaṁ sva-janam Kṛṣṇa samupasthitam sīdanti mama gātrāṇi mukham pariśuṣyati. Arjuna uvāca dṛṣṭvemaṁ sva-janam Kṛṣṇa yuyutsum samupasthitam sīdanti mama gātrāṇi Ladies?
Arjuna uvāca
dṛṣṭvemaṁ sva-janam Kṛṣṇa yuyutsum samupasthitam
sīdanti mama gātrāṇi
pariśuṣyati.
Arjuna uvāca
dṛṣṭvemaṁ sva-janam Kṛṣṇa yuyutsum samupasthitam
sīdanti
mama gātrāṇi mukham pariśuṣyati. Translation. Arjuna said, My dear Kṛṣṇa, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. Purport. Any man who has genuine devotion to the Lord has all the good qualities which are found in godly persons or demigods, whereas a non-devotee, however advanced he may be in material qualifications by education and culture, lacks in godly qualities. As such, Arjuna, just after seeing his kinsmen, friends, and relatives on the battlefield, was at once overwhelmed by compassion for them who had so decided to fight amongst themselves. As far as his soldiers were concerned, he was sympathetic from the beginning, but he felt compassion even for the soldiers of the opposite party, foreseeing their imminent death. And while he was so thinking, the limbs of his body began to quiver, and his mouth became dry. He was more or less astonished to see their fighting spirit. Practically the whole community of all blood relatives of Arjuna had come to fight with him. This overwhelmed a kind devotee like Arjuna. Although it is not mentioned here, still, can easily imagine not only were Arjuna's bodily limbs quivering, his mouth drying up, but he was also crying out of compassion. Such symptoms in Arjuna were not due to weakness, but to his soft-heartedness, a characteristic of a pure devotee of the Lord. It is said, therefore, Yasya asti bhakti Bhagavad kinshana sarvai gunaistatta samasate sraha halava bhaktasya kuna kuto mahat guna mano matena sati tavatobhi. One who has unflinching devotion for the personality of God has all the good qualities of the demigods. But one who is not a devotee of the Lord has only material qualifications that are of little value. This is because he is hovering in the mental plane and is certain to be attracted by the glaring material energy. Mukhaṁ kareti vachalam bhangam langate girim yakipantamam vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Om Jnana Timirandasya Yanachara Shalakaya Chakshu Amilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So a Vaishnava, he sees the good. He doesn't see the bad in others. Hare Krishna. So there was one devotee. We had one godbrother. He's no longer with us. His name was Mukhaṁ, and he became a guru. I forgot his guru name, but a sannyasi. He became a sannyasi. Who? Madhurya Govinda Swami. So one devotee did not like the way he was chanting very loud. And so nobody else could think, what they were doing. And so one time he drove Srila Prabhupada to a program, and this devotee was chanting. Mukhaṁ, his name was before. And this Mukhaṁ was chanting, and this devotee who drove Prabhupada, he left because of disgust. He said, "Oh, this is so bad, I can't tolerate this chanting." So on the way back in the car, Srila Prabhupada said to him, "Oh, Mukhaṁ was chanting so nicely, wasn't he?" And then he said, "Oh, yes, Prabhupada." So Prabhupada, he wanted us to see the good. So Arjuna is seeing the good. There wasn't much good to see in Duryodhana. First of all, they gave Bhima poison to drink, put him in chains, and threw him in the Jamuna River. But the thing that happened was he went down to Nagaloka somehow, and there the Nagas, they counteracted the poison with the poison of the snakes. And he stayed down there for 3 days, and they gave him tonics to drink so he would become even more strong. So it was actually, Krishna made it better. Even though they were trying to kill him, he came out better. And then in the house went on fire. They burned their house on fire. They escaped, and when they were in the dress of Brahmins, hiding, they got Draupadi as their wife. So it came out better there too. And then there was this Rakshasa that was attacking the village where they were staying. And Bhima, he killed that Rakshasa, so it came out better for the village because they had to sacrifice somebody from each family for this Rakshasa every month or every week. And then there was Asatsapaya. They were in the vicious assembly. Draupadi was actually insulted. But because of that, the battle of Kurukshetra was fought, and they came out victorious. And Vanavas, they lived in the forest. But while they were in the forest, all the great sages used to come and visit them. So they got a lot of good association in the forest. Even Kṛṣṇa came with Satyabhama. I was talking about that in the Sunday Bhagavatam class, how Satyabhama asked Draupadi, "How do you keep your 5 husbands under control?" And so, anyway, that was the last class. We're not going to get into it in this class. Yes, and then the battle of Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa protected Arjuna. And he will protect, now it's before the battle, Arjuna is speaking at the moment. And then this Ashvatthama, he tried to kill the embryo in the womb of Uttara. Kṛṣṇa protected again. So forgiveness is a Vaishnava quality. But Arjuna's service to Kṛṣṇa was as a Kshatriya, and Kshatriyas don't forgive. Not supposed to forgive. The Brahmanas, the beauty of the Brahmanas is they forgive. The beauty of the Kshatriyas is they fight. And they don't retreat from battle. Beauty of the Vaishnavas is that they enrich the cultural activities and they protect the cows. Beauty of the Shudras is they serve their master. And they're very faithful to their master. So Arjuna was seeing the faults in his occupation, fighting. He could not refuse. He had to kill his relatives. Actually, the Kshatriyas were not basically following the four regulative principles. They, first of all, illicit sex, they didn't follow because the rule for a Kshatriya, if any woman comes and wants to marry you, you have to accept her. And Bhima was forced when they were in the forest, and one Rakshasa lady fell in love with Bhima, Hidimba, and he didn't want to marry her, but his mother could. He said, no, you have to marry her, you're a Kshatriya. So he married her, and then they got a son, Ghatotkach, who sacrificed his life in the battle of Kurukshetra. And then meat eating, sometimes they would go hunting, and they would offer the food in sacrifice, and they would eat meat. Intoxication, the Yadu dynasty got intoxicated and killed each other. And this gambling, Yudhisthira, he lost the kingdom because of gambling. And so this is not good. So Kshatriyas, if there were a challenge, they had to accept these things. They had to accept. So Arjuna was disturbed because he had to perform a conflicting duty. A service, he found a fault mixed in it. So how can Kshatriyas live in the world and advance in spiritual life? Well, performing conflicting duties, and even devotees sometimes have conflicting duties in Kali Yuga. So there's a verse in Bhagavad Gita in the 18th chapter, verse 48. Sva-janaṁ karma kaunteya sadoshamapina tejet savarnam hidoshena dumenagni ivavitaha. Every endeavor is covered by some fault, just like fire is covered by smoke. So one should not give up the work born of his nature, even if such work is full of fault. Now, smoke doesn't make the fire impure. Fire is pure, but the smoke doesn't make it impure, even though there is smoke in the fire, but fire is considered to be pure. So in the same way, so now Arjuna is going to say, I'm not going to fight. I'm going to be a Brahmin. I'm going to leave and renounce everything. So, but he's not assured that, even in if he renounces, still there may be some fault there too. And so this is the example of Bhagavad Gita. So how did Kṛṣṇa see Arjuna's attitude of forgiveness? What did Kṛṣṇa think about it? So Srila Prabhupada explained in a lecture on this verse that a devotee may excuse some offense, but Kṛṣṇa will not excuse. He will not excuse. Arjuna said, let them be excused. Kṛṣṇa said, no, you have to fight and kill them. And so, yes, this is, here we are in Kali Yuga. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Miche Maya Boshe, we're being carried away by the waves of Maya. In the rainy season, many plants float down the river. And sometimes they're together and sometimes they're apart. So we come together in family, society, friendship, love, but we're being tossed by the waves of Maya. Nobody's your father or mother. They're a combination of Maya. And we're so attached that were refusing to go back to Godhead. Now, Krishna was not forgetting the offenses of Duryodhana and friends, especially to Draupadi. So, why did he tolerate when Draupadi was being disrobed? He gave unlimited cloth, so he saved her. But he tolerated. He could have just finished the cruise immediately. Prabhupada explains in the purport of a third canto, chapter 1, verse 43, that the silence did not mean that the Lord excused the offenses to Draupadi, just because he didn't do anything or he didn't say anything. Because, why did he do it? Because there were so many bad kings on the earth, and they were disturbing the earth, and he wanted to get them together on the battlefield of Kurukshetra and kill them all at once just to make a shortcut on his killing mission. That's what Prabhupada said. A shortcut, just get them all at once, 18 days finish. So it wasn't just Duryodhana and family, it was the whole world. And so if he just had finished Duryodhana, then the whole world would still be there. And all these so many kings. So before the battle, Kṛṣṇa went as a messenger to try and stop the war. But Duryodhana would not give it even a piece of land which could fit on the tip of a needle. It's so bad. So then, after leaving Duryodhana, he went to Kunti, and he asked her if she had any message for her sons. So this is from Mahabharata. Kunti said, Yudhisthira, first she talked, here's a message for Yudhisthira. Your stock of pious credits will decrease as long as you allow yourself to remain like a mendicant. So he was chastising his renunciation. Your excessive compassion, weakness of heart, overall mildness are not befitting a kshatriya. It's your duty to fight. So, see, you should rescue your poor mother from the humiliating life of having to live on the mercy of others. And to Arjuna, she said, remember how a voice from the sky announced at the time of your birth you would become equal to Indra in prowess. And after defeating all the Kurus and getting back the kingdom, you will perform 3 great sacrifices. That was to Arjuna. To Bhima and the twins, she said, now is the time to show your strength. Remember all the insults you had to tolerate, especially Dushashan's words to Draupadi. Oh, now you are our slave. And he was dragging her by the hair, actually. And Bhima was so angry that flames were coming from his eyes, ears, nose, and mouth. That was Bhima. Now, he couldn't do anything because Yudhisthira, he was listening to Yudhisthira. So in previous verses, Arjuna was telling Kṛṣṇa, let me see who I have to fight with. Now, Kṛṣṇa, as Hrishikesha, knows past, present, and future. He knew why Arjuna wants to see with whom he has to fight, because he is hesitating to fight. Why is he hesitating? He gives reasons. If I do my service of fighting, how will I enjoy? I'll kill everyone. Who can I enjoy with? Second reason, if I do my service, I'll get sinful reactions. And then he gives a good reason, that it says in the Shastra that if one kills the elders of the family, there will be destruction of the dynasty. So sometimes we also hesitate to do some service because we calculate maybe what's in it for me, or how will I eat, how will I sleep, how will I be comfortable. So if someone asks us sometime to do some service, probably I didn't finish my rounds. Or in Calcutta, we used to go and make life members. And they will say, when the Lord will inspire me, then I will pick up my pen and sign the check for life membership. So they need Krishna to pick the pen up for them and put it in their hand. So they were looking for divine signals. And so sometimes we do that too. I will look for some divine signals and then I will do the service. So Achyutananda, he was preaching in India, and he was telling Prabhupada that, most people say to us, because in America, you have already enjoyed sense gratification, so now you are taking to this. So what was Prabhupada's answer? Well, then the hog would be the first-class devotee, because he enjoys all kinds of sense gratification without any restriction, not caring for mother, sister, or daughter. So the hog would have gotten the first-class certificate to become a devotee. That was Prabhupada's answer to that, first sense gratification. There was a guru, I don't know if he's still, Osho, he died, I know. I don't know if his movement's still going on.
Yeah, he's still, I still sort of see his name come up on Facebook.
Yeah, because that was his philosophy. First you enjoy, and then you renounce. But the problem is they never get to the renunciation part. They just enjoy. That was the problem. His followers became monkeys. Okay.
Unrestricted sex.
Yeah, unrestricted, yes. Or pigeons, or who knows. So this is going on. And so Prabhupada said, in India, they're thinking, first we have to become Americans, then we'll think of Kṛṣṇa. But now it's different, it's better. That was when we first came to India, nobody was joining, because it was only so much austerity, so very much austere. And so, so Arjuna is hesitating to fight, but he's Gudakesha, why should he hesitate? Because Krishna desired to speak Bhagavad Gita, that's why. And Krishna cannot talk to some ordinary person. So Arjuna, by the will of Krishna, played like an ordinary man. And Krishna became his chariot driver to give him proper protection. So Krishna is also our chariot driver. He's everyone's chariot driver. He's in our heart. Prabhupada says in the Purport and later on that he is Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, supreme guidance. He's already the chariot driver of all living beings. So when he shows himself as chariot driver of Arjuna, there is no change in his exalted position. It was Arjuna's power of devotional service that revealed him as the chariot driver. So we can't see him. But he's there. It says that later in Gita, Ishvara sarvabhutanam, hridesha Arjuna tishtati, that I'm in everyone's heart and I'm driving the chariot. So why do we hesitate to surrender to him? He's our chariot driver. We think maybe there's something else worth having. We're not determined to have him. There's a verse later on in the 7th chapter, Danda Moha. That's why we came here, bewildered by duality and illusion. And so these are the problem. So duality means, should I do something Krishna conscious or should I do something not Krishna conscious? Two things are there. But no duality means there's only Krishna conscious things that we want to do. So if we are convinced, yes, this is the only thing, then we'll come to Nishtha, actually, or steady devotional service. And we hesitate also because Maya is also dictating to us. It's Maya saying, no, don't go to the temple. Why are you coming here? So many rules and regulations, so many restrictions. That's in the beginning, and also in the middle of in midlife crisis, this Maya starts getting strong too. Oh yeah, okay, your youth's not finished. It's not too late. You can still enjoy. And sometimes devotees, they leave when they get into their middle age and try to enjoy again. So Maya is actually dictating, and he wants to keep us. She wants to keep us in her prison. And if we try to get out, suppose you try to escape the prison, all the sirens go off. And so we're trying to escape the prison. And so she's alert to catch us. Side by side, there's the sun and there's the shadow. So if we stay in the sun, that's Krishna consciousness. If we go to the shadow, then that's Maya. As Srila Prabhupada says, if you go on an airplane and you fly west and you don't get off, then you may not see the sunset. So I had that experience. I was traveling from Delhi to Ireland, And I chanted my first Gayatri in India, my second Gayatri in Germany. Third Gayatri was Ireland, and I was waiting for the sun to set. And it was summer. And, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, no, 11:30, something like that. It was, because the plane landed like just about around sunset. So if I had kept going, maybe I wouldn't see the sunset. So what that means is that we keep ourselves in the sunlight of Kṛṣṇa. If we turn our back to Kṛṣṇa, we see a shadow, then we see Maya, then we see darkness. So Lord Chaitanya has made it very easy for us. Nama Nama Kari Bahuda Nija Sarv Shakti. So you chant the holy name. So many names are there. He was even Prabhupada when he was in Tehran, Iran. It was very interesting because the Muslims, they were all Muslims there, so they were having this chant on the loudspeakers 5 times a day. They were chanting. So Prabhupada asked, what are they saying? So the devotee said, oh, it's the names of God, Allah, and these other names. Prabhupada said, oh, that's very nice. The devotee said, but wouldn't it be better if they chant Hare Krishna? And Prabhupada said, you want me to be sectarian? Yeah, so Prabhupada he saw everyone equally. He saw everyone equally. And so he accepted. He said, yeah, okay. I remember I was in Calcutta airport. There was one Bengali Muslim. It was time to say the prayers. Got out his mat. He was going on for half an hour. It sounded like Bengali bhajans to me, the way he was singing. And I thought, ooh, okay, interesting. So, yeah, it's Krishna accepts everyone's names. When there was one Christian nun who came to Prabhupada, and she was very nice in London. And she had her rosary, which is like japa beads, because they chant on these beads. So Prabhupada said, so what are you chanting? What are you saying on your beads? And she said, we're saying, may Lord Jesus Christ have mercy on me. And Prabhupada blessed her. He said, yes, he will have mercy on you. And then I heard recently that there is one nun in London who is chanting Hare Krishna and has a group also, but she's still practicing as a nun. There are people like that, priests and nuns, who are also chanting Hare Krishna. So yeah, it's non-sectarian. So Krishna is telling us at the end of Bhagavad Gita, Sarva-dharmam paritaja mamekam sharanam vraja. Give up all varieties of religion and just surrender to me. Try to follow me and I'll take care of you. There will be no reaction to your sins. So at the end he says, ma shuchaha. And Prabhupada translates this in a lecture, do not hesitate. Do accept me. Please accept me. So when we're chanting, Srila Prabhupada said you should chant like a child crying for its mother, and you should think, please accept me. And when you chant very attentively, very nicely, Krishna will come, and Krishna will say, please accept me. Please accept me. And so yeah, so it's our choice. We can accept Krishna, we can accept Maya, and Gita is trying to convince us to accept Krishna, surrender to Krishna. So next time you're hesitating, remember Krishna's words, mashuchat, don't worry, don't hesitate, don't be afraid. I will protect you. We have to trust Krishna, We have to believe him. We have to have faith in him, that he knows what's the best thing for us. So I'll stop here if there's any questions, comments, you can ask at this time. Yes?
Thank you very much. That's very nice. So that you came to the essential point, how we can trust Krishna more and more. That's our choice.
It's our choice.
Yeah, but Krishna will help
Yeah.
by making us aware of his benevolence, of his kindness and his mercy.
Yeah,
There will be some perception, some recognition.
Yes, if we are always in a in a grateful state of mind. If we are very thankful to Kṛṣṇa all the time, then he will reciprocate with us very much. Deities, I see it more with the deities, sometimes the holy name also. Yes.
How do you experience that? As increased enthusiasm, increased taste?
No, not exactly like that. It's, I need some help. Just like, who was telling, I can't remember who was giving the class, but he was quoting Vaisheshika. When he goes on book distribution, he gives people a mantra card and says, do you need help? And they say, yeah. He said, oh, then you say this mantra and you'll get all the help you'll need. So, so I also, in the past, have experienced reciprocation during chanting, because I used to have to teach the Bhaktivedanta course, Srimad Bhagavatam. So sometimes I would not understand the verse. So I would read the verse, I would chant one round, and during that chanting, I would get so many ideas on the verse. That's how I would feel reciprocation. And sometimes, recently, I would go pray to the deities for certain help, and immediately I would get a garland from the pujari. Twice it happened. That. Yeah, that happened to me when before I started teaching Bhagavatam, Bhakti Vaibhav course. It was very interesting. I was praying in the samadhi, and at the same time, my friend was in Jaipur. And I was praying, okay, I need help, please empower me. And so then, at the exact same time, it was Mangalarti here, Mangalarti there. She got a garland. She was asking for a garland for me. And the pujari gave her a garland, and she brought it back to me. So then, that was another time it happened to me. So yeah, and it may not happen like that. It may happen that just there is some change in your life. That something happens in your life that changes everything. Maybe a realization, and maybe something material happens, and the reciprocation may come that way. It may come, or it may come by giving you some joy in your heart. Maybe you're sometimes in anxiety, and then the reciprocation will come. No. You get some happiness. You don't worry anymore. If you're a worrying kind of person, worry is not good, because Bhakti Tirthamraj says if you worry about something, that's like a prayer for something you don't want to happen. So we don't want to worry. Any other questions? Yes. Oh, okay. Yeah.
They do the illicit.
Yeah, well, it does. I mean,
they are married.
Yeah, well, they do.
Call it licit or illicit?
Yeah, it's sometimes they marry and sometimes they don't, because the wife of the king, she has her children, but then she has a lot of maidservants, and sometimes the king will have sex with the maidservants. This happened in the case of Vidura. He was not son of the wife of the king, but the wife was too scared to go with Vyasadeva again. She already had, the first time she had a fright, and so she sent her maidservant the second time. And the maidservant was very nice and devotional, and Vidura was born, and he's a pure devotee.
But devotees like Arjuna.
Like?
Arjuna.
Yeah, Arjuna. He got married.
He got 3 wives.
4.
He was, when he went to 4.
Yeah.
Then when he went to the Devaloka, he was seduced by one Apsara. But
Yeah,
he said, no,
yeah.
You are my mother.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
devotees
So devotees are different.
different.
Yeah. Except Kunti forced Bhima to marry the Rakshasi. You have to marry her. I don't know if they got officially married, but whatever.
But that was again licit.
It could be. I don't know if they actually had a marriage, or it was just whatever. Yes, you had a question.
You were mentioning about how Brahmanas forgive.
Yeah.
Kshatriyas find it difficult. They should not forgive.
They should not forgive, yeah.
And also, in Gita, many times Krishna talks about sva-janaṁ.
So that, yeah.
And ISKCON also we hear a lot about varnashrama, psychophysical nature. So I was thinking how a devotee who has some little bit Kshatriya temperament and like that, how do they deal with all these verses,
well, because we are Vaishnava first. In ISKCON, we are not Brahmana Vaishya, Kshatriya first. We are Vaishnava first. So Vaishnavas are forgiving. Vaishnavas should forgive. They are above Brahmins. I don't see Kshatriyas in our movement. There may be some that I'm not aware of that do their duties as Kshatriyas. They go and fight and do all that. There may be some. I can't say. I don't know everyone.
If you forgive the evil grows.
Huh?
So if you forgive the evil in the society as a Kshatriya,
Yeah.
the evil grows and the evil will occupy everything. So Kshatriya should not forgive.
Yeah.
If he is following the guidance.
I mean, we did have a Kshatriya, Parthasarthi was his name. And he was a soldier American soldier in the Iraq war, in the war in Iraq. So he was not forgiving, but he also was very compassionate to his enemies. You know, when one enemy was dying, he was chanting to him and whatever. He still shot, you know, I mean, he killed him, but at the same time, he as a Vaishnava, he was also trying to help him. I mean, he did his duty as a Kshatriya. Yeah, so there's an example of a Kshatriya. We don't have within ISKCON, like he was out, you know, it was outside of ISKCON. Yeah, so.
But if not Kshatriya, maybe Vaishya or Shudra, somebody will be a Shudra.
Yeah.
We find it difficult to practice all these Brahmanical qualities of forgiveness and.
Yeah. Yes, there is a gap between our realization and what we know. Yeah, we have a lot of theoretical knowledge. Yes, okay. I'm a Vaishnava, above a Brahmin, I should forgive, but then we go back down and we don't. And we do have courses like that. Mahatma gives a course in forgiveness, how we can apply it as Vaishnavas in our lives. So the Shudra, if he's a Vaishnava, he can take that course too. And the Vaishyas.
And the Vaishnava does practically all the duties of the
Yeah, he does all.
He does all.
But Prabhupada wanted to create a class of Brahmanas because there's a lack of Brahmanas in the world today.
For guidance.
Yeah, it's all Shudras and Lechas and maybe a few Vaishyas, but not many. You look at the head of the governments and you don't see good quality people. You don't see Kshatriyas. The heads of the countries, they don't go out and fight. They just send the poor young people. They're not leading. They're not Kshatriyas. It's not Kshatriyas in charge. It's Shudras and Vaishyas, or maybe less, in charge of the governments. If there's a Vaishnava and if there's a Kshatriya in charge, see, the Kshatriyas were favorable to dharma. What is right, what is just, what is true, then you'll have a Kshatriya, and he'll fight for the truth. If you have a Vaishya in charge of the government, it will be economic development, business. And the goal is economic development. That is, and if you have a Shudra in charge, the goal is enjoy, kama. I remember when I was...
Do you equate it to communist philosophy? Communist philosophy is basically says all labor, we are labor,
They're Shudras, yeah. They're Shudras. Prabhupada did say the communists are Shudras and the West and the Americans are capitalists. And so, yeah, they have their opposite goals. Yeah, and the Shudras, the goal is to enjoy, kama. I remember when I was a child, there was one person running for president of the USA. And he said, if you vote for me, I promise you there will be a chicken in every pot and 2 cars in every garage. That was his promise. No kama. Kama or, artha kama. Economic development, sense gratification. That is their goal.
Some devotees of Prabhupada even got the state leaders. They influence the state leaders, like Nelson Mandela got brought to a Kṛṣṇa temple by Bhagavad.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that can change the society.
Yeah. It has to be. There was one Krishna devotee running for president, I think 4 years ago, but
Tulsi Gabbard?
yeah, Tulsi Gabbard, yeah. She was, but the media doesn't allow you to see anything except what the leaders want you to see. So it was blackout for her. You couldn't. And so then she just actually left the party because she, what they're doing now is she didn't agree with. She left the Democratic Party. Yeah. So, any other questions? Yes?
How do we prepare our consciousness for chanting? Because when we really feel we need that, we should carefully chant, but there are many times when we feel we're okay, and the chanting is just mechanical.
Yeah, so when it's a problem, then you pray. Pray to your guru, pray to Prabhupada, pray to the holy name for help. And also you can prepare the night before, okay? Tomorrow when I'm chanting, I'm going to try to chant attentively. Or you can pray. You pray before you chant also. That, please help me. I want to chant attentively. I need help. So, you can pray. Yes, you have a question again?
Yes. This nectar of devotion, this qualities of devotee on a bhava stage, it was mentioned asha baddha, hope against hope.
Hope against hope.
So I was thinking, Mataji, as a sadhaka, many times I start to lose hope in my struggle against the anarthas. So this hope against hope is for someone who's already an advanced devotee. At my stage, how do I continue having this hope always, all the time?
At your stage, how do you have hope? It's a question. Hope means faith also. You have faith in Krishna. That he will, like he says, don't worry. So do we have that faith? Don't worry? Krishna will help?
When he said hope, somebody said prasadam.
Prasadam. Mercy. Prasadam means mercy. Prasadam means mercy. Yeah, so how to increase your faith and your hope. His Holiness Satchidananda Swami gives 3 things you can do. The first thing is improve your sadhana. So that means try to chant attentively, try to chant most of your rounds before you start your work. Secondly, pray for bhakti with taste. So sometimes we don't have the taste. So we can pray for it. Yes, I want to have taste when I chant. I want to have taste, do a little devotion here and there. And the third thing you can do to increase your faith is to take a risk for Krishna. You take a risk and you see, how Krishna is helping me. Yeah, for me, I travel sometimes, an old lady, with luggage. So one time I arrived at the airport in London. There was nobody to pick me up. It was like 2 hours away to the temple, and I had to take a train, 2 trains. And in those days, I didn't have a cell phone. So I went and I borrowed somebody's cell phone. And I called to the person who was supposed to pick me up. And I found out from somebody which train I should take and what time it would arrive. And so I phoned her and I said, okay, I'm going to arrive this time. So I got on the train. Somebody helped me to change the train. Got off the train. I was the only one to get off in my car anyway. It was 10:30 at night. And I didn't see anybody. And then the problem was, I had this big suitcase and a small one, And there was this huge stairs. I said, no way I'm going up those stairs. And then down again too, you know. And the person to pick me up had a back problem. She couldn't help me. So then all of a sudden, 2 young boys came. One was black and one was white. And they said, can we help you with your luggage? I said, sure. Yes, so then they helped me. And, you know, you kind of remember Krishna and Balaram. When I went to the house where I was staying, there were Krishna and Balaram deities. So they kindly reminded them, don't worry, reminded me, you know, don't worry. We will send somebody to help you. Yeah, those boys, they said, you're not from here, are you? I said, no. And they just, I didn't ask them anything. They just said, we want to help you with your luggage. Okay. So I took a risk for Krishna. Yeah, another time, this time it was at the beginning of my travels, I was not so expert. I landed in Canada, in Toronto. I had no phone number, I had no address, I had no money. And there was nobody at the airport. There was supposed to be somebody, but there was nobody. So then I thought, okay, what to do? So I went to the information center and I said, can you make an announcement on the loudspeaker? Will the Hare Krishna devotee please come to the information center? And Hare Krishna went, whole airport, they heard Hare Krishna. And this sleeping-looking brahmachari came, oh, sorry, Mata Jaya. He fell asleep. So, but now I get the names and the phone numbers. And who's picking me up? I try to be prepared.
Great idea.
Huh? It was
Sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, Krishna inspired me because I looked in the phone book, I couldn't find the address or phone number of the temple. I was like, oh. Yeah, Krishna helps you.
Krishna helps you with the ideas also.
Yeah, he inspires you. He gave me inspiration what to do in that situation, you know. I didn't know where to go. I didn't have money to go anywhere. But Krishna helped me. So you take a risk for Krishna, and your faith will increase. Definitely. That's how to increase your hope and your faith. Okay, any more questions? Yes?
You were saying the Kshatriyas about Ramachandra. It's a super knockoff program, but
yeah. Well, Ramachandra was a very special case because he wanted to show the perfection of being a Kshatriya. He wanted to follow very strictly. He wouldn't have any other wife than Sita.
Yes.
He was very, very strict. And that was one of his purposes to come here, was to show how a pure Kshatriya should behave. He was giving an example. He was being an example. There's another example too. Because after Sita, he sent her to the forest, every day he would do sacrifices with golden Sitas, Yagya Sitas. So one time, and he would keep them in the storage. One time he went there and all of them came to life. And they said, please accept us. He said, no, I only can have one wife in this life. He said, but don't worry, I'll come next time as Krishna and you can all be gopis. And so that happened. Yeah, in this life, as Ram, he was showing the example that you should have only one wife. Best to have only one wife. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Jai, glories to Prabhupada, Hare Krishna.